Welcome to Twisted Tree Yoga. My name is Lisa, and as you can see, I'm still videoing from my apartment. A little bit more today. I'm going to be doing some standing, so I wanted to make sure you could see all of me, but I guess you're seeing more of the apartment as well. So we all have to do what we can to create our yoga space. I roll a carpet out of the way and keep a chair away from the desk over here on the other side of the room. But that goes without saying. Today's practice is all about just getting some movement and some gentle stretching to get your day going. I love to do this practice when I roll out of bed first thing in the morning. I might be a little bit tight from the activity before, or just because it's the morning. A lot of times I'm very stiff in the morning, so this practice helps me get moving. So we'll start off with some breath this morning, or whatever time of day that you are choosing to watch this video. And we'll sit up nice and tall. You can sit in a comfortable seat. I am sitting on the edge of a blanket. You might want to sit on your heels or blocks, whatever it is that you might find comfort in. And just to let you know, we will use one blanket for the class today, or if you have blocks, you can use blocks as well. So sitting up nice and tall, we'll establish our first asana, which is a comfortable seat. Connecting to your breath, beginning to notice the inhalations and the exhalations. Allowing an involuntary breath of simply opening up through the chest, opening up through the belly, and as you exhale, feeling the belly release towards the spine and the chest release towards the spine as well. And just beginning to notice how your breath feels today. Maybe you're noticing that it's a bit restricted. Maybe it feels open and receptive. Allowing your breath to guide you. Maybe employ an ujjayi breath, gently restricting the back of your throat. Whisper-like quality. Establishing your breath and grounding, connecting to your body. Now taking a deep breath in. You'll exhale and roll forward onto all fours. I'm going to turn sideways to face the camera, you can see me sideways in the camera, I should say. Coming into our tabletop position. I prefer to have my toes untucked here. You can always tuck your toes if that feels better. Starting off with a cow pose, you're going to inhale, draw your shoulders back, tailbone lifts, belly dips. Exhale, pull your belly button in, rounding your spine, draw your chin in towards your chest for cat pose, really pushing through the finger pads here. Inhale, draw your gaze forward, shoulders back, tailbone lifts. And exhale, round your spine, cat pose. Chin tucks in, feel this stretch in the back of the neck, pressing down into the finger pads, really lengthening your arm bones. Inhaling back to cow pose. And exhaling into cat, pushing through the finger pads. Inhaling, last one. And exhale, pull the tailbone down, belly up and in. And back to your tabletop position. And then we'll add some gentle movement here. From your neutral tabletop position, you'll inhale, gaze forward, shoulders back. As you exhale, press your hips towards your heels, bend your elbows, and allow your forehead to reach to the floor. Inhale, gripping the mat, pull your body forward, collarbones widen, tailbone lifts. And exhale, hips to heels, bend the elbows, forehead to the floor. Taking two more like that, just warming up the joints in the body. Collarbones widen, gazing, tilt your head. Exhale, pull the belly in, bend the elbows, and release. Inhale, last one. Lengthening, collarbones widen. And exhale, release. Hips to the heels, elbows to the floor, forehead to the mat. Inhale back into your tabletop position. Now we'll tuck the toes, draw the belly in, and pushing your hips high, keep a bend to the knees as you straighten your arm bones. Inhale, come back to your tabletop position. Draw your shoulders back and your tailbone lifts. Exhale, push the hips back, lifting the knees and shifting the hips. So we're just taking some gentle moving downward facing dogs here. Adho Mukha Shavasana. Exhale, pressing the hips back and up. Belly in. Inhaling back to your tabletop, gazing forward. Last one, and we'll stay. Pressing the hips nice and high. Walking out your dog, pushing through your finger pads here, allowing the heels to release to the floor. Now I'd like you to keep your left knee bent and push your right heel to the mat. So you're getting a stretch to the back of your right leg. Engage your right quadricep, kneecap lifts, push down into your finger pads, lengthening your arm bones. Exhale, release, switch sides. Bending the right knee, pressing your left heel down, lengthening back, pushing through the left heel, fingertips pressing in, arm bones lengthening. And return back to your down dog and release both heels towards the floor, belly up and in. Arm bones lengthening here as well. Taking your feet as wide as your mat and walk your feet forward so the soles of your feet can just rest onto the floor. Taking your right hand, reach towards your left ankle, your shin, or your thigh, and we'll get a little twist and stretch here. So push down into the left hand, lengthening, pull your body towards your left thigh, gazing underneath your left armpit, belly up and in. Now draw the left hip back so we get this beautiful stretch on the left side. Releasing your right hand to the mat, left hand to the right shin, ankle, or thigh. Pushing down equally into both feet so the hips aren't shifting to the right. And then belly in, begin to twist and look underneath the right armpit. Pushing down into your finger pads, draw the right hip back. Nice stretch on the right side. Releasing, left hand meets the right, and move back into your downward facing dog. As you push through the finger pads, lift your right heel and open up through the right hip. So we're getting a nice circular action here through that right hip, switching directions. And release, pushing through that right heel. Straighten the right leg, hips are level. As you exhale, step your right foot between your hands and lower your left knee to the mat. Option here to keep that left knee lifted, push through the heel, or knee to the floor. Left hand inside of your right foot, reach your right fingertips to the sky, pulling up and in. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, right fingertips draw you up to center, so we're coming into a twist. Reaching out through the fingertips, belly up and in, nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, come back to center. Hands to heart, hinge forward, left elbow to the right knee. Press your palms together, shoulders draw back, belly up and in. Pushing through the right foot. Inhale, full low lunge here. Fingertips to the sky. As your right heel presses in, energetically draw it towards your left knee. Belly in, lifting through that left side. Right hand grabs the left wrist. And exhale, take a little stretch to the right. Inhale back to center. Hands to the mat, framing your right foot. And then press your hips back, Hanumanasana, half splits. Pushing your right heel down, extending back. Feel that right hip drawing back. As I push my right heel down, I'm drawing my toes back, so I'm getting a stretch even though my knee isn't necessarily extended fully. Rocking forward onto the right foot. Hands frame the right foot and step your left foot to meet the right. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Shoulders glide back. And exhale, dive it forward. Inhale, root to rise, fingertips to the sky. Right hand reaches for the left wrist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, arch to the right. Inhale, back to center. Left hand to the right wrist. Exhale, right reaches towards the left. Inhale back to center. Bend your knees, elbows in cactus, belly in. Lift the heart to the sky. Feel this nice stretch in the back. Inhale, release, and as you exhale, fold forward. Stepping your left foot back and your right foot to meet the left. Inhale, left heel lifts. Begin to lift your left knee up, getting a nice stretch, rotating through that left hip. And as you exhale, left foot steps forward. Once again, your right knee could rest, or you could keep it lifted. Right hand to your inner thigh as you reach your left arm up to the sky. Belly up and in as we twist here. Sink a little deeper. And slowly release. Inhale, reach those fingertips to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart, twist. Right elbow to the left knee. Press the palms together. Sink a little deeper, shoulders drop back. Feel that twist, belly up and in. Inhale, back to center. Fingertips nice and high. Left hand reaching for the right wrist. Inhale and exhale. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Right hand to the left wrist. Yeah, I think we had it right the first time. Take your stretch on the opposite side, and then hands framing your left foot. Shift your hips back, draw your toes towards your shin. Maybe scooch that heel forward as we find our stretch on the left hamstring here. Once again, I'm pushing my heel down into the mat and then drawing my thigh bone back towards my hip socket like I want to pull the mat with me, but it's not moving. And then rocking forward on the sole of your left foot. Step your right foot forward to meet your left. Inhale for a halfway lift, nice and tall. And exhale, hinge forward, nice flat back. Stepping your feet back, finding a plank pose here. Now you can lower down by shifting forward. Draw the elbows in and begin to lower chaturanga. Make sure the shoulders stay away from the ears. Or you can lower down knees and chest and chin. Sliding forward wherever you are. Taking a baby cobra, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, release. Take your hands wider than your mat. So take a wide-armed cobra here. Elbows are bent, belly in, press the tops of your feet down. Exhale, and then inhale to lift. Draw the shoulders back. Heart lifts, collarbones widen, lengthening. And then exhale, release it down. And then we'll take Purna Salabhasana. Reach your fingertips back towards your knees, pressing palms down into the mat, shoulders away from your ears. Always the option here to interlace your hands behind your back if you prefer, or just press the palms down into the earth. Lift your right leg and lift your left leg. Belly in, lift the chest. Push the palms into the floor, or press your fists into your sacrum if your hands are interlaced at the low back. Keep lifting those feet up a little higher, belly in, and slowly release. Now hands next to the chest, we'll press it back, child's pose. So this is our first yin pose. So knees are nice and wide, and then reach your fingertips forward. Allow your forehead to rest onto the mat. If this is difficult, place a block or a blanket underneath your forehead. And then breathe. This is more of an active yin practice. So as you press your finger pads into the mat, feel the palms lifting slightly off the earth. As you're reaching forward, arm bones lengthening, shoulders on the back. Push your hips towards your heels so you really feel that lengthening of the spine, the opening in the inner thighs and the groins. Stay with your breath. Although this is an active yin, it's still introspective and it's all about sensation. Maintaining a stretch, maintaining our breath, and noticing when our edges shift. If it's too much, then we back away slightly. If it's too little, then we press forward just a bit more, widening the inner thighs, or maybe reaching the fingertips more forward. And inhale, come back to center. And we'll come into a seated position for Sukhasana. So Sukhasana is just cross-legged. So we'll start with the right shin in front of the left. And if you want to do more of fire log, you could, stack your legs up here. But as first thing in the morning or just a gentle practice, just Sukhasana is fine. Now pressing your hips down into the mat, belly up and in, lengthen, inhale. And then as you exhale, hinge forward. Begin to walk your hands out as far as you can. And you'll start to feel a stretch into your right hip. And once you feel that stretch, you pause. Allow the sensation to be. The shoulders move away from the ears. And simply breathe here. I find that with these turbulent times that we're in, that my yoga practice is the practice that keeps me present. It keeps me connected and sane by connecting to the breath. I stay connected to the present moment. Unconcerned with what's going on around me right now. I can tend to my body and my breath. And this isn't selfish. This is a way for us to stay connected to ourselves. If we're not connected to ourselves, then it's difficult to connect to others and to help others. And then slowly begin to walk your hands back, coming into an upright seat. And then switch sides. So left shin in front of the right, or slightly under the left shin, sitting up nice and tall. As you exhale, hinge forward. Nice stretch into the outer left hip. Once again, establish your asana, your breath. Find your edge. And in the stillness, connect to the quiet behind the noise. Allowing the distractions around us, phones. For me, there's a lot of helicopters and garbage trucks and police sirens in the city. So connecting to the breath allows me to kind of push those sounds to the background, to allow my mind to follow my breath. Creates peace. And then slowly walk your hands back. And we'll come into a reclined butterfly. Now this is where you're going to use your blanket or your blocks here. So you just want to take your blanket, if you have one, and bring it into this rectangular shape and fold it into thirds. And that you can either place down the center of your spine or behind your shoulders. I'm going to put this behind my shoulders, and it'll set right below my shoulder blades. So my arms will easily reach out to the side. Your knees can stay bent, or you can extend your legs out, or maybe you prefer to go into Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of your feet together. Once again, we want to make sure we're not utilizing muscular effort in any of the yin shapes. So if you find that you're pushing and your legs are moving or you're feeling wobbly, then maybe use that shape another time, or if you have props around, to utilize different props. Getting a nice stretch through the chest and the front of the body. We want to establish this nice massage and stretch of the third chakra, which is between the bottom of the sternum and the belly button. And in this space is our place of confidence, of will. It is our fire. And it's really nice to stoke our fire first thing in the morning with some of these shapes to create an intention for the day, to build our momentum to get the day going. So when we're stretching through that space, we can feel that fire being stoked, working towards our goals for the day. We'll slowly bring some movement back into the fingers. Bend your knees, soles of your feet on the mat if you've got your legs extended. And then slowly turning onto your side. Just press yourself up enough to move the blanket out from beneath you. And roll back onto the mat. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little hug here, a little rock from side to side. And then place your right foot onto the mat. Shift your hips towards the left. Bring your right foot in towards your left, and then allow the knees to drape towards the right. Arms extending out to the side. Make sure that the left shoulder is grounded just as much as the right. So lift the right shoulder blade and scooch that over from there. If you find that left shoulder is still quite lifted, place a blanket between your legs or underneath your bottom leg. This is going to help create a little lift to the legs, which will rock the body towards the left, and you'll be able to move that left shoulder closer to the floor. And just breathe. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, press your left hip away from you. Lengthen belly up and in, and establish a bit more of a twist. So feel the belly button moving towards the right as your hip moves towards the left. And then slowly inhale, come back to center. Realign your spine here. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Placing your left foot onto the mat, shift your hips to the right, and draw your left knee back in, and knees draping to the left. Arms extending out, lifting that left shoulder blade so the right shoulder can rest. And you can turn and gaze over your right fingertips if that feels okay in your neck. Otherwise, just gaze to the sky. Deep breath in. And exhale, press that right hip away and lengthen through the tailbone. Draw the low belly in. Just reestablish a deeper twist here. Liquids are a great way to begin to squeeze out the body, to energize the body, to lubricate the spine. And also it's great for digestion and to get our early morning bowel movements going. So it's a really all-encompassing shape. And then inhale, slowly come back to center. Realign your spine, draw your knees in towards your chest, that little rock from side to side. Now, normally we would go into Shavasana, and you're more than welcome to come into your Shavasana shape if you'd like. But because it might be first thing in the morning, I do recommend sitting up into a seated meditation. So you'll just gently roll onto your side and press yourself up. Taking a nice tall seat here. You might sit up onto your blanket or blocks or heels, wherever you can find and reestablish that asana, that comfortable seat. Crossing one shin in front of the other and sitting up nice and tall. So closing down your eyes or just gazing to the tip of your nose. You might take these last few moments to establish an intention for the day, or maybe reflect on the day you've already had if you're doing this practice in the evening. Just allowing this time to decompress even more, to feel more connected to your body. Nothing to do but simply absorb all of the benefits of this practice. To feel your body stretched, ready to go. Or maybe just ready to rest. Notice any resistance to stillness. And just breathe into that resistance. Allow the sensation to be. It doesn't have to always feel good and pleasurable. Sometimes it's agitating or frustrating. But rather than rolling up your mat and skipping your Shavasana, I invite you to stay with it. To recognize that amidst all of that angst and agitation, that's where we begin to find the pleasure and the joy of life. It's like being unable to see the light without the shadow, and the shadow without the light. We need both. Staying here as long as you'd like in your Shavasana or meditation. But if you feel ready, you can begin to come out of it. Slowly making your way to a comfortable seat. As we place our hands to our hearts, tucking our chin gently towards our chest, acknowledging each and every one of you who have shown up for this practice. Immense, immense gratitude that you have chosen to take 30 minutes and simply take care of yourselves. To each and every one of you, I bow. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this short practice. I will be posting some more content on this channel. I got a little distracted, so we're going to be working on getting some more content out there. Please post any comments of things you'd like to see, practices that you're interested in. If you want more meditation or if you're interested in some philosophy, I would be more than happy to take your suggestions. So thank you again, and I will see you soon. Namaste.